Okay, I had a friend recently reach out to me about the book Profit First by Mike Michalowicz, and she asked me some advice on how to set up her store for success. She's purchased a store, I believe it's a thrift store sort of thing, and she wants to set it up as effectively as possible for success based on the principles of Profit First. So I've created this video for my friend Anessa. Anessa, this is for you. But I thought I'd share it more broadly with, well, the rest of y'all. Anyhow, first of all, I've never run a store before in my life. I have run a whole bunch of other businesses, but I've never run a storefront before. I think one of the challenges in running a store is it'd be very easy for you to lose track of your actual profitability. You have a lot of inventory, but are you actually staying profitable because you have a lot of different pieces and a lot of overhead and a lot of things going every which direction. Additionally, you can be deceived by revenue. I know I've been, and any business can be deceived by revenue. I can say I've got $200,000 a year coming in with my repair business, but that doesn't mean I've got $200,000 a year in profit. And those can be conflated a lot. So a lot of business owners can make the mistake of looking at revenue and thinking it's a good thing, but not realize profit is an entirely different thing. And more to the point, Mike Michalowicz's book, Profit First, makes the point and drives home the point that's most obvious based on the title, that profit should come first out of the business. Most often we come to business with the idea that should come second, but the reality is Mike Michalowicz argues that we should take our profit out first and make the entire business work after the fact to work. And so he advocates not using credit cards for the most part, and he advocates a system of using 5 different bank accounts for your business. One where you set aside profit, one where you set aside operating expenses, parts, employees, and other things like that. That way you can immediately, as soon as you open your Facebook, your banking app, you can immediately see how much money you have in the different buckets. It's kind of like an envelope system for businesses. And it's a brilliant system in the fact that it's brilliant in its simplicity. Because because the thing that confuses me is I have an accountant that does QuickBooks for me, and she does a fantastic job of organizing all the different parts of my businesses into spreadsheets and QuickBooks, but sometimes when I pull them up, I can't understand them. But more to the point, those accounting spreadsheets don't tell you in the moment what you can do in your business. What tells you what you can do in the moment in your business is when you look at your banking app and see how much money you have in the business account. That tells you who you can pay, what bills you can pay, what parts you can order, etc. The Profit First system advocates you having 5, 6, 7 bank accounts, so you can always, as soon as you get money, you set some money aside in profit and you make the business run based on everything that's left over. It's a very stupidly simple budgeting system for business. And it only works if you really work it. It only works if you really stick to it and really discipline yourself to say, hey, I'm going to always take my 2, 3, 4, 5, 20%, whatever profit out at the beginning. I'm going to pay myself first and do these things. Then we're going to make the business shrink down to whatever it takes to run. It takes creativity to run the business that small, but Profit First forces you to be brutally honest with what you have to work with. Now, that's kind of the short version of Profit First. You can get much better explanation of Mike Michalowicz's system, Profit First, from other people. But here's kind of my thoughts on how well it's worked for me, okay? So Profit First has helped me because I am a really simple thinker. I can build things quickly, but I don't get in the weeds easily. So if you're someone that loves being in the weeds and all the details of your business and burying yourself in spreadsheets, maybe it's not for you. But one thing I like about Profit First is it has kept me honest about where I am. Now, depending on the business you're in, it may be more or less beneficial. If you're running a thrift store with a lot of inventory coming and going, and you need to be really careful in budgeting because you don't really have the power to create a surge in revenue based on what you buy because you're just getting stuff donated, then Profit First is going to be brilliantly valuable for someone in that kind of a store situation. On the other hand, I've found there's times when Profit First doesn't work for me because I need to use credit at one time or another to make a purchase that I know that I can multiply out because I'm in a buying and selling business, because my business is growing, because I'm doing coaching, because I'm doing all these things. There's been times I found it valuable to extend myself beyond what I have to be able to make something happen. But that all being said, every time I followed Mike Michalowicz's principles in Profit First, I've realized they're not magic. They're just straightforward, simple business principles that really work with where most people are psychologically, where I am, whereas I run my business based on the cash that I see. If I don't see the cash, and when I put money in, like, hey, the government's money, the tax account, I'm not going to touch that money because I know it belongs to the government. So anyhow, this is a very long video. I apologize for the length of it, but Mike Michalowicz's system, Profit First, is valuable. It's really effective at helping you to run your business and making sure your business makes you a profit, because you know what? If our businesses aren't turning a profit, what's the point of what we're doing in the first place? It's really valuable. There's some situations where I don't follow the principles, but I think it works well in a lot of situations, especially if I was running a store. I hope this helps. Have a good one.